I call the February 8th Environment Committee to order. Do I have a nomination for chair? Councilmember Oxeter?
Yes, I nominate Councilmember Harris.
Okay. Councilmember Harris, do you accept? I do. Is there any other nominations? I'll take a vote. All those in favor? Okay, Councilmember Harris, you're the chair.
With thanks, Councilmember Oxiger. Did they turn up the vol on these things, or is it just me? They work really good. Okay. First item of business is approval of the minutes from the November.
We need a nomination for vice chair.
Oh, I apologize. Poor timing on that. Yeah, I would like to accept nominations for vice chair. My apologies. Councilmember Oxiger.
Yes, I now nominate Councilmember Grace Yoshiko, or Grace Matsui. Sorry.
Do you accept the nomination?
I do, thank you.
Well, and I think it's a done deal. Congratulations. Okay, now, sorry about that. Next item of business, approval of the minutes from our November meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the minutes from the November 9th, 2023 Environmental Committee.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Motion passes. And I guess where we're on to now is the 2024 work plan. Oh, you don't have your own?
Limited way.
No, man.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Good evening, Council. My name is Tyler Beakley, Surface Water Manager. I'm going to be going through our 2024 draft staff proposed work plan for this committee, and I'll dive right into it. As I go through each date, I think it would be best if the Chair agrees to just ask questions as we go, rather than coming back to it. So please stop me if you have a question.
I think that would be the best way to do it. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Chair. So starting with today, we're discussing the 2024 work plan discussion. Moving on to March 14th, next month, we're going to have our NPDES program overview. So NPDES stands for National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, and it's a federal requirement that's dictated to the states. Department of Ecology mandates that in our state, and they initiated it for Phase 2 cities, which we're a Phase 2 city, in 2007. So we've been under this permit since then. Each year, staff likes to give this committee an update with the prior year's actions, successes, metrics, and that's what we're doing on the March 14th meeting, is discussing NPDES activities that occurred in 2023. Also on the March date is the 2024 Stormwater Management Program Plan, and this, coincidentally, is looking forward to 2024 and what planned actions we have for the same permit. All these actions revolve around water quality, discharge of stormwater, construction, pollution prevention, all within that umbrella. I'm going to move on to April. April's meeting, we have the CIP project updates. These projects that we're going to be providing an update on are specifically within our surface water utility. So these are all surface water funded projects. These are projects that are active projects, meaning they're in design or they're in construction. And you'll notice that a few times throughout the year, we come back and provide CIP updates. So that's a chance to share different phases of a project, challenges as we go through them, maybe delays or changes in their schedule or different changes within their funding. And it's a great opportunity to share that and ask questions, and also inform the public as they're interested in these projects as well. So,
Did you want to
yeah, you can.
Good evening, Committee Chairs. Denise Lathrop, Community Development Director. Another item that the planning team plans to bring forward in the April timeframe would be the conservation and environment element, and that's a portion of our comprehensive plan update. And so that element addresses environmentally critical areas that include shorelines, flood hazard areas, habitat, geologically hazardous areas, wetlands, and streams. And so that's going to be a piece that we'll bring forward for discussion.
And perfect time to jump in there, because I remembered something on the CIP updates that I wanted to mention. So, as you may or may not know, our Public Works Director, Andrew Merges, his last formal day at the city was yesterday. So the city has posted that position, and I trust Tim and AJ are actively seeking a replacement for our Public Works Director. But setting the stage for 2024, we have a lot of projects headed to construction, and now with just less staff to help manage projects, we wanted to preface that early in the year. As further updates, we'll let you know how that impacts staffing levels, project management, and what we're able to deliver. We're hoping to continue to press on and meet all our projects' goals, deliveries, to spend those committed dollars, but just wanted to let you know that there are staffing concerns currently.
Apparently, the reactor is running at 125, so will you be briefing us in the interim until there's a new DPW?
So I am briefing on this committee
Throughout the year?
as the surface water manager role. I am filling in as an interim director for this month until our city engineer returns from paternity leave, who would then take interim director until that position is filled. So we're playing a little bit of hopscotch, or however you want to say
So
that.
maybe 60 days minimum before things sort of...
Yeah, and then there's the onboarding, depending on the new directors.
Yeah, no, I'm just
Yeah.
trying to get, because the reactor is at 125, I'm just
Yep.
trying to get a visual, of like, okay, just
Yep.
how
We-
this is going to work.
That would be a good goal if we made it in that time frame. But it's all going to depend on qualified applicants and how soon we can fill that position.
Yeah, no, I've often, talked about the encyclopedic knowledge base of our previous DPWs.
Absolutely.
It's truly stunning.
No,
And
a
so,
wealth of
yeah.
knowledge is leaving. So that's something we've been, yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, we're moving on to May. And this is something that we haven't had in years past, but our operations and maintenance overview. I thought this would be a good item to bring to the committee, as we don't highlight this enough. I think at the council level is, what do our maintenance staff do for the stormwater utility? What does our infrastructure look like? What condition it is in? And just provide a deeper dive than we would in any of the other updates on O&M, ponds, tanks, vaults. How do we clean our basins? What do we do for pipes? What's our replacement schedules look like? How do we engage the community for filling in ditches? The wealth of updates that we could provide in that. So I'm looking forward to that one. Going to June, we have a standing item that has been an item for 30 years now. I think we're on year 32. Our Public Works groundwater remediation. So in our engineering building just behind us, I guess, yep, that's the right direction. In the backyard, there used to be a fuel station back there. Back in the 90s, it was discovered that was leaking. And through many years of different implementation, working with the Department of Ecology, we've got that mostly cleaned up through monitoring wells, through aeration, through soil removal, straight soil removal of the saturated soils. And we've been saying this for a few years now, but we're in the final end of this cleanup, where I believe it was 13 wells were above. Now I'm sharing the update. I should just keep it more brief, but 13 wells were outside of targeted limits for hydrocarbons, and now we're down to one well. So we're very close, but we'll provide a more in-depth update at that time.
I remember Lauren saying before he
Yes.
split, it's like, I think we're, but he would show this cyclical thing based on seasons.
Yeah, groundwater.
And then all of a sudden, it would like come back. And so, okay, well, we're getting there.
We're getting there, and we'll have a more in-depth update in June. And then also in June, we'll have another CIP project update check-in, and that's right, June is right around the time we're entering construction season. So hopefully we'll have some updates on projects then and results of bids and so forth. So moving on to July. So going back to our NPDS permit, we have a new issuance of that permit coming in this summer. I believe the start date is August 1st. So that permit becomes live, and every 5 years, we get a new permit. So we're at the end of our current permit, and Ecology comes out with new requirements for cities, municipalities, to basically meet. So I shared an update, I believe in last winter to this committee about what we see coming as far as those updates, draft conditions coming on the new permit. At this time, we're gonna know those for sure. They'll be final permit requirements, and we're gonna share those and the impact to the cities, our operations. Yes. Councilmember.
Councilmember Grace Matsui.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the 5 years is the regular cycle, because you said the last update was from 2017, is that correct?
No, so the 5-year cycle is the regular cycle, and I'm sorry if I misspoke on 2017.
No, it might have been what I heard. Thank you
Right.
for the clarification.
Yep. Let's see.
Oh, well, just
Yeah.
real quick, but there is no, as far as you know, the update that you provided last winter is, you're not expecting any surprises.
No.
There's always a chance, but
There's always a chance.
at the moment,
there-
if we reviewed that last update, that's kind of where we're heading. Hopefully.
That's what we're going to expect. They did receive plenty of comments on that draft permit, and that's what they're reviewing now.
Yeah.
Is all those comments from third parties, nonprofits, cities, counties. They're going through that process now, so it may look a little different, but I think the heart of those conditions will remain the same.
Okay, I just have to ask because we've been in Olympia and seen like, surprise, and so it doesn't happen just here, yeah. Thank you.
Right. Also in July, we're gonna provide a Stormfest program update. Stormfest is where we go out each year to the beach park for 2 or 3 days, and we host 6th graders in the Highline School District and teach them all about stormwater, water quality, watersheds, the Puget Sound. We have the beach naturalists show up. So this update will be after the 2024 event, and we'll share successes, stories. It's real feel-good update, assuming all things goes according to plan. Question.
No. Councilmember Grace Matsui, sorry, I've got to
Do you
get my
have the-
vision together.
Thank you. Do you have the date of the event? I know we're getting the update of this meeting, but has it already been,
Off the top of my head, I don't have the exact date. I want to say it's early June.
okay.
So we could provide that. And usually we start posting as we get closer on the city website, and we do an outreach for volunteers and stuff like that.
I'm going to ask but do we have any marketing dollars or what I mean, in other words, I've heard from people over the years, wonderful program, wish I'd known. Is there anything we could do to just increase public awareness of it ahead of time?
Absolutely. So, yeah, this is a joint effort between Berrien, SeaTac, Norrie Park, us, and King County. So we have a committee, staff, and together we try to cast a broad net out. And that net is really looking for volunteers and support, ways the public can support the event. It isn't a public event. It's for the 6th graders. So we don't advertise it for people to come, but we are always looking for more help. And that's, we try to share it at council meetings. We can share it on all our social media platforms through the city clerk.
Okay, no, you've given us a path. That's good. We can get the word out.
Yep.
Councilmember Oxiger.
Yes, I'll try to speak.
Yeah.
Is there any effort on Stormfest to include the 6th graders at Woodmont, which is in the Federal Way School District?
Right, and I can say, not currently, I know you made this comment before, that is something challenging based on the partnerships. So we would have to establish partnerships with Federal Way School District and all those municipalities. We could look at hosting just the students in Des Moines separately. But yeah, we haven't tackled the logistics of that, just to give you the straight answer. We could still look into that.
And so are we also picking up St. Phil's and Holy Trinity?
Currently not. It is a partnership with the Highline School District. So it's currently just the public school district.
Okay.
Yep. And that's going back to the origins of this in 2017 or 18 when it first started. And Beery, it was initiated out of Beery and got buy-in from all the local cities that this would be a Highline school program. So we've been on board with them, but they've kind of been the leadership of it, centering out of Berrien. So we would have to start our own initiatives if we wanted to include private schools or different school districts and dedicate staff hours to developing that program and partnerships.
Okay, it wouldn't just be an extension of what we're already doing to additional schools?
It's not that simple with the funding partnership with those other cities to incorporate other schools outside the district. It would have to be its own thing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, just to be clear, is it a question of funding, or are there other, legalities or whatever that would preclude other groups from showing up? In other words, if the funds were there, would it be possible for other, if there was another organization that sponsored Woodmont or other schools?
Yeah, I don't
If there
believe
weren't dollars.
it's not a problem of funding, rather logistics, where it is almost considered a field trip and a field day for the Highline School District to rent that out, and the coordination between the rotations would get complicated if we incorporated other school districts, and the way the lunches are delivered and the way buses arrive.
Okay.
I think it would be, it's a logistics,
Hypothetically,
yes.
if somebody magically had a bus and had the lunches and all of that stuff.
Yeah, I think,
Would there be any objection, is what I'm trying to say, to, I'm just, and if
right.
you don't have an
And
answer
I
now,
can't answer that, because the objection would probably come from the Highline School District, and I can't speak for them.
No,
Yeah.
I know, it just seems like something we should try to figure out how to do. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, and that being said, there's probably opportunity for staff to look at other ways to incorporate those other schools and not have them be left out of this opportunity, or maybe host something alternative, maybe a Storefest day that's just open to the public and invite the schools out. But we'd need to add that to a work plan. And
And then the reactors at 128.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So let's pencil that in for July to maybe check in again on what we could do for the other schools, and as far as Stormfest, and broaden that umbrella. I think that would be good to expand that topic. Make a quick note here. So into August, we have the Des Moines Creek Basin Committee ILA. So this is another long-standing committee that the city's been involved in, and this is with partners in SeaTac and the Port of Seattle, as us three share the Des Moines Creek Basin tributary. So all the water that falls on the Port of Seattle, in SeaTac, and Des Moines that are within this basin, we have all three partnered together to maintain the infrastructure that we jointly share, that jointly benefits the creek. So, in really a range of between 2000 and 2010, this partnership built with WashDOT the bridge enhancements, which really is a big culvert over the creek. We did in-stream infrastructure to help the creek, and we also adopted the old Midway sewer line and created a stormwater bypass for high creek flows. So as the creek gets higher during large rain events, it would go into their then abandoned sewer pipe, now a stormwater pipe, and bypass to help creek flooding that used to occur down in the beach park that is now much more or lesser extent. Still occurs every once in a while, but not to what it was in the past. So all that to say is we're working on a new ILA. This one with the three entities is now coming to an end. We're working on drafting new language. That'll end up needing to come to full council for approval, and we plan to brief the committee before that on the ILA status.
Is it as massive as the document I read from '97? I mean, because the originating thing is a large piece of trees. I mean, it hasn't gotten any shorter.
We're working to clean it up and make it easier to read.
Okay, no, that's just my, I mean,
Yep.
I'm not being flip
No,
here.
No, absolutely. It's something on our radar, and I think it's just iterations throughout the years. We're able to consolidate our vision because all the projects have been complete, so now we're focused on maintenance and operation.
Okay.
So it does get shorter, but still it's a document.
Okay, thank you.
Try to be better on the mics.
Sure.
Councilmember Bruce Matsui.
Thank you. I'm wondering if that is something, I hear that you'll be cleaning up some of the language in the ILA. Is it going to be an opportunity to make any changes, or is it just an update and we'll have the same terms as before?
Yeah, I think substantially it'll have the same form. We are making minor changes to the structure, how the chair seat looks. We're also taking a harder look at forecasting future replacement costs. We are taking, and again, I'll be able to provide a more detailed update when it's on the calendar. But we're looking at opportunities where we could involve the public as far as education about water quality on the creek, how we can engage the public on opportunities to help with invasives and promote stewardship. So there's some small opportunities there to enhance the ILA.
Thank you.
Let me catch my place here. One more in August, the draft 2020. So this is our 6-year CIP for the stormwater utility, and we'll come to the committee to share a draft of that. This outlines the utilities plan for new upcoming projects and how we forecast those and how they were updated from last year based on budgets, priorities, changes maybe to the infrastructure or the environment, and how we prioritize those. So we'll get a look at what projects we have coming within those 6 years. In September, we have an update on the Poverty Bay Shellfish Protection District status. This has been a topic since 2015, and this is right off the shore of Redondo, basically all of Poverty Bay within Redondo there. The shellfish beds that the state and the Puyallup tribes harvest were downgraded in 2015 to conditional harvesting, meaning they could only harvest geoducks for half the year. This was downgraded based on water quality levels that the state tests out there, and these testing stations went too high in bacteria, fecal coliform, and that triggered King County to form a district, special purpose district, which is the Poverty Bay Shellfish Protection District. So since then, all the entities within the district, including tribes, state officials, county officials, neighboring cities, we've all convened on quarterly, sometimes more than quarterly, committees to help clean up those stations for bacteria. So I will come to the committee and provide this year's update on where we stand, what is the status of these harvesting beds, and how that cleanup is going. Also in September, we're gonna finalize that 6-year CIP that I just mentioned and share what the final draft looks like after we received comments.
Councilmember Oxier.
Thank you. Okay, with regard to the Poverty Bay Shellfish Protection District, are you working with Lake Haven and are aware of the updates that they're doing to the Redondo treatment plant?
Yeah, absolutely. Lake Haven's been involved in this committee since it originated. We are aware of their needed plant upgrades. We're aware of their prohibited discharges, that they sent fecal coliform bacteria on many occasions because they don't have the capacity at their plant. The state is aware of it as well, and they actually, unrelated to Des Moines waterfront, but closed more harvesting beds in Federal Way due to the Lake Haven issues. So that is kind of the most recent news that we're sorting through as a committee. But it seems like the state isn't saying there's too much an effect on the shellfish beds that Des Moines is concerned about. And then into October, almost there, another round of CIP project updates. And here, this is the time of the year where we're wrapping up construction usually. So we'll come with an update on where projects wrapped up and how they went and what the final budgets were looking like. Into November, we have a source control program update. This is a newish program for the city that we launched last year. So 2024 will be our second year running this program. This is where we visit businesses within the city of Des Moines that are considered high potential pollutant generators. So they handle oils, greases, food waste. They could pollute the environment if they have the ability to. So part of our MPDS permit requires us to go out there and inspect these sites, make sure they're following all their appropriate best management practices or BMPs for pollution prevention. Making sure that they have a plan for spills, drips, making sure they're not dumping their bucket water out their back door, making sure their garbage cans are closed, etc. So in November, we're going to come to the committee and share how that round of businesses inspections went for 2024. And then December, we have an open time slot if there's any recommendations for new items or staff has new items they'd like to bring throughout the year, we could add that in December. And that concludes staff remarks.
I'd like to take questions from the committee. Anything at this moment? I have 5, and they're hopefully quick. Every year, King County and the MAST, they do this wonderful presentation concerning water quality, that zero poo thing and so on, and it's really outstanding, and they talk about how they're now doing neighborhood tests at the various stormwater things. I understand the reactor's at 125, and I just want to stipulate that in all of these, but I think it would be fabulous if there was some way to bring that here. It's like you only get 30 people there, and it's the same 30 people, and I think you'd just get hundreds of people who are terribly interested. I mean, so just something to give a think to.
Yeah, is your comment more in regards to how we can help support that existing program or help expand that to other areas in the city?
I was just hoping they could do the presentation here sometime rather than Redondo, because I mean, I see. You only get 24 people. I mean, in that room, before you max out the floor, and it's because they're actually doing the tests now. At the street level.
Yeah.
I think it's something I've heard from residents. They would love to learn more about that. They're able now, I guess, to determine at a DNA level to a certain extent on a lot of these E. coli and so on. And I think the community would really want to hear about that. The other thing is, let's see here. I'm not trying to, but there is, an ongoing concern with the king tides and flooding, and so, especially at Redondo, again, I don't know where it fits in here, but somehow building a little bit more awareness of that, because it just comes up all the time. People seem to freak out. And number three, this will sound like could we get the, no, I'll tell you about that offline. In general, I would like I would somehow like to incorporate trees and the airport here at some point, to be determined, but I don't want to come across as impolite given, the staffing changes and so on, but somewhere in there I would like to be able to make just a space for these broader environmental discussions, and I'd like to get some sense from my colleagues if they're on board with that, or if they think it's going outside.
I have a comment on that.
Please.
That may address that. So I believe during planning's added work plan item in April, the conservation environment comp plan update, there's an element of that that will heavily focus on trees. So that may be a good opportunity to come and add that to that discussion.
Yeah. I'm just it's always, this has been a stormwater utility, and I just think there are some broader concerns, but of immediate concern to me is, don't people usually take their holidays somewhere in July and August? So are we being, I appreciate, hard work and everything, but this seems a little unusual, or is it really the plan to work through both July and August?
Are you saying as far as the work plan?
Yeah,
At a staff level, we're happy to provide these updates through the summer, but as committees, if they get canceled, rescheduled, we will just remove items as needed.
Okay, but you're willing to make yourself available if we
Absolutely.
have stuff that we want to do. Okay, that's really, my main thing is just providing a venue if there are items, that the committee wants to take a look at, just to have that space open. Councilmember Grace Matsui.
Thank you. Yes, I would be interested in talking about what range of broader environmental issues that we might find appropriate for this committee, and if it's at all feasible given staff constraints. But I think trees as since it does fit in with the comp plan update, would be a very good place to start.
Okay. Again, I'm being, are you seeing the little cringy thing? I am completely mindful of the scheduling things. I just want to broaden the discussion a little bit into, because it is an environment committee. And I guess that's all from me. Anything further from my colleagues?
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you had 5 items, and I think I only.
Yeah, no, I decided to take one of them offline, and just because. So I think I'm done, yeah.
And just if it's helpful for having, all three of us say, I think looking into the tree aspect is important, so I guess it's unanimous.
And I understand, I'm being very undefined at this point. I just want to create some space for those kinds of discussions, because they don't, seem to fit into, they seem to fit here, yeah. Anything else?
Just to clarify and maybe wrap up my notes, I think we can incorporate your first comment about the King County Mass Center efforts and the Zero Poo within our MPDS program future update. And I think that I can coordinate with inviting them to come to full council and can facilitate that.
I forget her name, Lori, but I would love it if they could, yeah.
Yeah, staff can look into that one. We talked about the trees, and then I just wanted to clarify if you were making a recommendation to include king tide flooding officially into the work plan.
I got to think about it a little bit because I don't know what I'm asking. I guess what I'm asking here for the purpose of this meeting is just to find out where there is any kind of room, and I'll get back to you.
Okay.
I'll talk with my colleagues and we'll, but I keep coming back to 125, and I want this to be something that is, that we're all enthusiastic about, not just like,
Got it.
So, anything else?
That concludes staff.
I will entertain a motion to, end this meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. We're out of here.